What's good, YouTube? It's me, your boy Squiddy, back again with another video. I'm doing a stonk cards you should pick up series. So these are cards that you guys should definitely pick up that are going to be expensive in the near future, going to be meta relevant. A lot of these cards are easily predictable. Like you can just look at the OCG, what's going on over there, and these cards are mostly sided or played. But I find that TCG players, like Yu-Gi-Oh players, just don't care in general to look at that stuff. So like when a card is finally played in like a format, boom, it just shoots up in price. Like cards like Ghost Ogre, you already knew that they were good, they were only dollars, and then next thing you know, they were played at a YCS, it's like $5-6. So this is kind of a little guide to show you guys what to pick up. Yeah, so starting off, Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment. These cards have been sided in a lot of OCG decks in the Splice format. Because apparently stopping their one starter, like their normal summon on a diva or like a swap prog or something, can be really devastating, can be turn ending, and these cards are just so high impact going first. So obviously Judgment is a card that you can max out on, and then Warning just paying the 2k as well. Cards are super cheap. There's tons of printings right now. I know Warning was like 10 cents. There's like a comment online, so definitely pick them up. Again, if you have a lot of money lying around, you could do like penny stocks. One thing in Yu-Gi-Oh is I know the cards are really expensive, but if you're like a budget player, you can pick up a lot of these cards earlier when they're cheap, and then when they go up in price, you can either sell them or trade them off for other cards. So you're kind of like using like your own, you're sustaining yourself using like Yu-Gi-Oh cards by buying and selling and reselling and so on and so forth. So you don't have to spend real money. And you can kind of like build your bankroll over time as you make more of these predictions and resell these cards. You get like a bankroll of a couple $100 and slowly accumulate staples. So that's one thing I did. Definitely Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment. Next card is Evil Twins, KI-SIKIL, LIL-LA, and Evil Twins Trouble Sunny. So these cards are sided a lot in the OCG right now, and essentially the reason why is because there's a new spell card called Artemis Slay. I don't know if a lot of people know about it, but essentially it's a new spell card that's super broken. What it does is it says send one monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, then target one monster your opponent controls with the same card type. So you can send a Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, Pendulum, or a Link, and then you target the same monster that your opponent controls. Let's say, hey, they have like an Appaloosa, we can send a Link monster, target it. They cannot respond with monster effects. So if they have a Baron de Fleur, we could send like a Fusion deck, Fusion monster, and then target that, and they can't negate. So it's super good. And the reason why it's especially good, being that Trouble Sunny has a graveyard effect. So when it's sent to the graveyard, what you can actually do is you can banish this card from your graveyard, send one Evil Twin monster from your deck to the graveyard or hand. This being the KI-SIKIL, which is actually a brick. But the nice thing is you can actually send it from your hand as well to fulfill the effect of Trouble Sunny, so that still works. And then you send a card on the field to the graveyard non-targeting. So all of a sudden this card becomes like a +1 because you're sending away the Baron de Fleur or whatever monster they have, and then you have Trouble Sunny, so you can banish this, have a non-targeting send, which forces them to bait out their traps or whatever they have to use. Super cool and super nice effect. So definitely pick up at least one of these if you want to play it, and then maybe a couple more. I think they're only a couple of bucks. I know Trouble Sunny is like $3 or $4 on TCG Player. KI-SIKIL, something around that as well. So I could definitely see them go up in price, especially because they are holos, ultra rares from like older sets. And usually when these are meta relevant, they do go up in a couple of dollars price. So yeah, definitely check that out. I know there's some other good targets for this as well. So definitely see what's cheap out there. Pick up some cards. Next card is Diamond Dust. This is a card I found in my bulk just looking around. I know a lot of players haven't really sided this, but I was thinking, it does have a kind of relevant effect in that it destroys as many water monsters on the field as possible, being like all the Splice cards, the starters that leads the Diva, the Frogs, totally awesome even. And then your opponent takes 500 damage for each water monster destroyed. So yeah, let's see, like this card, even though the cards don't get played, all it takes is for one person to like side and do well at like a regional or like a YCS, and then they go up in price. You saw cards like Grave of the Super Ancient Organism, like the ultimate, it was played by like at one regional, like maybe two, boom, shot up in price. It was like $100 for the ultimate when it was previously like maybe like $10-15. Even though it's not a really good or popular card, let's say, all it takes is one player to play it, and then you can, these jump in price. And this card is only like 10 cents on, it's a bulk. It only has one printing. It's from Duelist Saga, so it could potentially be a couple of dollars, like $5-6, maybe more, because it is from Duelist Saga, which is 5 years ago. Pretty scarce. A lot of people didn't really, think this card is relevant because it's just a random bulk card, so it could be hard to find. And then obviously the 500 damage in time, that's pretty important. You burn them for like 1k, 1500, that's pretty hefty. Next card, another trap, Forbidden Apocrypha. I also found this in my bulk. I was thinking, like, you know, this card was actually good during Zodiac format. It's always good in formats where there's like a tier 0 or a tier 1 deck that is specifically, you know, built off of one thing, like, you know, synchros. It's even good against Sword Soul. Like, you could call synchros and just wipe their board with Qixing Longyang and then Qixao. Obviously against Spite, you know, they have like some links, so it does something. Against tier elements and Shaddolls, you know, like you can call Fusion, same with Branded, and it just takes care of everything. So this card is super cool. The effect, obviously, if, you know, there's 2 or more monsters that declare type on the field, you have to send them to the grave, so it doesn't target as well, which is super good. And then the other thing is this does have only 1 holo printing. It has some common printings, but the holo printing is only 10 cents. It's from Dual Devastators, so it could be a potentially good pickup that could, you know, go to a couple of bucks that you can penny stock on. So yeah, other card, Deck Devastation Virus. This card is actually cited a lot in the OCG. What it does is it you tribute a dark monster with 2000 more attack, which in today's day and age is super easy to get on the table. Back in the day, it was like super hard. You know, you had to tribute like Summon's Call, but now you can just, you know, chuck something out of the extra deck. Boom, it's easy. You have it on the field. And this is like a crush card virus that checks your opponent's hand, you know, all the monsters they control and all cards they draw for 3 turns, and then they destroy monsters with 1500 or less attack. So it's actually better than crush card because all the Spite cards have less than 1500 attack. Obviously, it could just nuke their entire hand and then they just lose the game on the spot. You get to see their hand, their next 3 draws. A lot of information, which is super relevant in today's metagame. You know what to play around, you know, on your following turn. And this card has a lot of printing, so it's super cheap. The commons are pretty cheap. There's an ultimate version if you want the bling, but that card's already really expensive because it is legal in some order formats like Dragon Ruler, which it was cited actually to take care of hand traps and baby dragons. As well as, I know it's technically legal in GO format, I believe, but I don't think it was actually played. Now, this card also works with Trap Trick, which is an X card. This card was recently reprinted in Gold Series. It's only $1 or $2. I think it could be really relevant because there are like a lot of high impact traps that are certainly playable. You know, cards like Dimensional Barrier, Artifact Sanctum, even if Scythe survives the axe somehow. Obviously, Devastation Virus, maybe like the other cards as well, the traps that we previously took a look at, Forbidden Apocrypha and the other card. It's just a generic card. You've seen this see a lot of play in like the Sky Striker deck that won with mine, obviously. So this could potentially go up in price after a while, you know, after like a couple of months, maybe a year, when the printings are scarce and they're not reprinting it anymore. Generic good trap card that allows you to play 6 copies of a trap essentially in your deck. Next card is Dark Ruler No More. We all know this card is super good. It fluctuates in and out of the format depending on, you know, well, the format. It does do a lot. It could be cited in the Spite format as well. Just takes care of the board. Especially after they banned Scythe, so like decks can't do the Baron standby phase Scythe technique anymore. This card is probably going to be a lot better. And it just got reprinted recently in the Abad structure deck, so it's only like $1 or $2. I don't think it'll be reprinted, you know, in the next little bit. And then if there's like a month or maybe a year gap, this card can definitely go up to a lot of price. Maybe even $10 plus, you know, because if this card is like a super relevant side deck card that you have to decide in every deck, it could definitely be like the supply and demand just like takes care of the market and just jumps the price up. And then the last card is Dark the Dark Charmer. Obviously, this card has been good since it's been released. You can special summon things back. There's always a relevant dark monster in the game. There's Phoenix Enforcer, you know, like this card can summon back any dark monster. Obviously, it's being a charmer, it doesn't negate the effect. So you could actually link climb easily into Selene Access Code as well. There are a lot of dark cards that are just like generically good, like link monsters, you know, like that you could special summon back and use it as your own. It's only $1 or $2 right now, but it could go up to $6, $7, maybe even more, because if it doesn't see a reprint, like we know that Asa previously being a rare, it went up to like $5, even though it wasn't played in every deck at the time, but it was just like a niche card that was also a waifu card. So technically, I guess it's a guy, but like dark, it's still like a waifu card in the sense of being a waifu. So it could be worth a lot of money, and I would definitely pick them up if you haven't already. And yeah, that's about it. If you guys like this, subscribe, rate, and comment. I'm going to make some more. Just going to check out the OCG deck recipes and stuff, and I'll keep you guys up to date on what to pick up. Deuces.